Every 4 years, the world stops. Billions of people across every continent tune in to watch two teams play one match. The FIFA World Cup Final, the most watched single sporting event on the planet. But here's the question nobody ever really asks. How did those two teams get there? Because the road to a World Cup final is not a simple journey. It is one of the longest, most brutal, most statistically improbable paths in all of professional sport, and for the vast majority of nations that attempt it, the road ends long before anyone is watching. Here is exactly how it works, and how extraordinary it actually is to reach that final. Most fans watch the World Cup without realizing the tournament began years earlier. For the 2026 World Cup, qualifying matches started as far back as October 2023, nearly 3 years before the final was played at MetLife Stadium in New York on July 19, 2026. Approximately 211 national teams entered qualification across 6 continental zones. Every confederation runs its own qualifying system. Europe had 54 nations competing for 16 spots. Africa had 54 nations competing for 9 spots. Asia had 47 nations competing for 8 direct spots. South America, home of Brazil and Argentina, two of the most decorated nations in World Cup history, had 10 nations competing for just 6 automatic spots, with a 7th possible through an intercontinental playoff. The 3 co-host nations, the United States, Mexico, and Canada, qualified automatically. Every other nation had to earn their place. Lose enough qualifying matches and your World Cup is over before it starts. Of approximately 211 nations that entered, only 48 made it to the tournament. 2 reached the final. The 2026 World Cup introduced the biggest format change since 1998, expanding from 32 to 48 teams for the first time in history. Those 48 teams were divided into 12 groups of 4, each team playing 3 group stage matches. The rules are simple. Win earns 3 points, draw earns 1, loss earns 0. The top 2 teams in each group advance automatically to the knockout stage. The 8 best third-placed teams across all 12 groups also advance, but only 8 of the 12 third-placed finishers make it through. The remaining 4 go home despite finishing third. This means a team can play 3 World Cup matches, win 1, draw 1, and lose 1, and still be eliminated. Goal difference matters. Goals scored matter. Fair play record can even be the deciding factor when everything else is level. 32 teams survive the group stage. 16 go home. From the round of 32 onward, the World Cup becomes completely unforgiving. Every match must produce a winner. Lose once and your tournament is over. No second chances, no accumulation of points to save you. If a knockout match is level after 90 minutes, 30 minutes of extra time are added. If still level, a 5-round penalty shootout decides it. If still tied after 5 rounds, sudden death penalties continue until a winner is found. A single saved penalty, a single shot that hits the post, and years of preparation end in seconds. The round of 32 reduces 32 teams to 16. The round of 16 reduces 16 to 8. The quarterfinals reduce 8 to 4. The semifinals reduce 4 to 2. Those final 2 teams play the match the whole world has been waiting for. To reach the 2026 World Cup Final, a team had to win 5 consecutive knockout matches without a single defeat after surviving 3 group stage matches before that. For the first time in World Cup history, teams reaching the final played 8 total matches across the tournament, one more than previous editions required. 8 matches across 5 to 6 weeks, against the best national teams on the planet, in stadiums across 3 countries, with the entire world watching every moment. Approximately 211 nations entered qualifying. 48 reached the tournament. 32 survived the group stage. 16 survived the round of 32. 8 reached the quarterfinals. 4 reached the semifinals. 2 played the final. That means only 2 teams out of approximately 211 that began the journey, less than 1%, made it all the way to the final. Every other nation, at some point along that road, played their last match and went home. And here is the detail that makes those 2 finalists extraordinary. They did not simply survive. They won 8 matches in a row at the highest level of international football, under the most intense pressure the sport produces, without a single loss in the knockout stage. The World Cup Final is not just a match. It is the end of a journey that started years earlier, that eliminated more than 200 nations along the way, that required winning 8 consecutive matches without losing once. The 2 teams standing on that pitch in New York on July 19, 2026 did not just qualify for a final. They survived everything the sport could throw at them. That is what the final actually is.